Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Urkha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up. It's from The Independent, and it came out Saturday, March 26th of 2022. So it's a 3-year-old article, not a little older really, closer to 4, or getting closer to 4. But the elder Barzal posted this in our group, started reading it, liked it, and a lesson needed to be done from it. So it says, paralyzed man communicates first words in months using brain implant. And he said, I want a beer. It says, locked in ALS patient also asked to listen to Tool loud and ordered a curry. So it says, a completely paralyzed man who was left unable to communicate for months after losing the ability to even move his eyes has used a brain implant to ask his caregivers for a beer. And so we see this came out almost 4 years ago, and this should help you see the gradualism. They've been putting out articles about these implants for years and how it can help humanity. And at first it seems kind of cringy, but as it keeps being pushed out there, people become more and more comfortable with it. And then not to mention, there's also miracles associated with it. And so it's going to make people, this eases their entry into actually getting it. Because can't forget, the devil's a salesman. He knows your psychology and what triggers you to actually make moves, to influence you. He knows these things, with the devil being the Edomites, so-called white people, including the tiny hatters. That's the devil of the Bible. And those are the same people that are going to push the MOTB. Just think about it. Who else is going to push that? It's so-called white people, including those tiny tops. That's who's pushing this out. That's who's going to try to put this device in you. And this is the device right here that people are going to be able to buy or sell. It's going in their hands or in their forehead or wherever in your body. It doesn't matter. It's something the Lord told you not to get. But getting back to this guy's paralyzed, but through this implant, he's able to communicate. It says, composing sentences at a rate of just one character per minute. The man also asked to listen to the band Tool loud, requested a head massage from his mother, and ordered a curry, all through the power of thought. And that band Tool, they're a rock band, but their sounds are, it's like an industrial rock with these tribal beats as well. It's very mechanical. So I think that's funny that he asked, not that people don't love Tool, the band, but it's kind of funny that they had that in there, because it's kind of mechanical. You see some of their artwork, and some of it is man mixed with machine, especially I think it's a music video, Schism. And I remember seeing their videos growing up on MTV, and they were always kind of terrifying to me because there's like a mixture. It was just made you feel uneasy. It's kind of a mixture of man and machine, and it was all in claymation and stuff. And you listen to their music, and it's very similar. And even the word tool, this implant, quote unquote implant that they're giving, which is going to eventually be the MOTB, that RFID micro C-hip that people aren't going to be able to buy or sell with, that's also a tool. It's a tool to move humanity into this fourth industrial revolution that the Edomites want to push people into, that the elite of Edom want to push people into. It's a tool. And so I don't think there's any coincidence that they said this. Tool. We want us to listen to Tool because they're trying to introduce a new tool to humanity. But it says all through the power of thought. That's a miracle. And that's even getting into, which I'm sure these devils really want to do, get into telekinesis, controlling things through the mind, in which they're basically there. There's another guy that's playing video games with his mind. This is the world the devil wants, which sounds alluring, sounds great, especially for somebody who's injured or has a disability like this, but it's not through the Lord. It comes through the Lord after this devil is moved out of the way. They're just trying to play the Lord. They're trying to play like they're gods because they have a God complex. So they're doing these miracles and they want to influence the world into taking the path that they are creating. But the Lord's going to remove them. But getting back to the article, Slakia says the man, who's now 36, had 2 square electrode arrays surgically implanted into his brain to facilitate communication in March of 2019 after being left in a locked-in state as a result of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, which that's a serious disease. It takes over your body. These people are basically, their mind's still working, but their body is completely given up. And it's just a slow process. This is people suffering from the progressive neurodegenerative disease have an average life expectancy after diagnosis of 2 to 5 years. Though they can live much longer, the late physicist Stephen Hawking lived another 55 years after his diagnosis, relying towards the end of his life on a communication device controlled by a single cheek muscle. And everybody knows Stephen Hawking in his wheelchair with the robot voice. And so now instead of him using his cheek to communicate through the robot voice, they're giving people these implants in which they'll be able to just think their communication, which can sound alluring to people with this condition or any condition. They're trying to do all the miracles that the Lord did. They're trying to make the blind see, make the deaf hear, make the lame walk. They're trying to do this through their God complex, but they're no gods. These are men, and these men are leading humanity astray. Which humanity doesn't matter. It's really just about Israel. And so, if you are an Israelite, this should be an absolute no-go. You can't take any of this. This is where you separate from them. It says, until now, a brain implant has not been tested on a completely locked-in patient, and it was not known whether communication was even possible for people who had lost all voluntary muscular control. Ours is the first study to achieve communication by someone who has no remaining voluntary movement and hence for whom the BCI is now the sole means of communication, said Dr. Jonas Zimmerman, a senior neuroscientist at the Weiss Center. The study answers a long-standing question about whether people with complete locked-in syndrome who've lost all voluntary muscle control, including movement of the eyes or mouth, also lose the ability of their brain to generate commands for communication. Working with researchers at the Weiss Center for Bio and Neuroengineering in Geneva, Switzerland, the ALS patient consented to having the brain implant fitted when he still had the ability to use eye movement to communicate in 2018. It took 3 months of unsuccessful attempts before a configuration was achieved that allowed the patient to use brain signals to produce a binary response to a speller program, answering yes or no when presented with letters. It took another 3 weeks to produce the first sentences, and over the next year, the patient produced dozens of sentences. One of his earliest communications concerned his care, asking for his head to be kept in an elevated and straight position when there were visitors in the room. He also requested different kinds of food to be fed through his tubes, including goulash soup and sweet pea soup. For food, I want to have curry with potato, then bolognese and potato soup, one request stated. He was also able to interact with his 4-year-old son and wife, generating the message, "I love my cool son." The research was detailed in a study published this week in the journal Nature Communications. The study, titled "Spelling Interface Using Intracortical Signals in a Completely Locked-In Patient Enabled via Auditory Neurofeedback Training," noted that the BCI communication system can be used in a patient's home, with some sessions even before performed remotely via the patient's laptop. Yeah, just a little more. So, it says the scientists behind the brain-computer interface technology are now seeking funding to provide similar implants for other people with ALS, which cost close to $500,000 over the first 2 years of use. And you better believe those prices will be coming down as they get more efficient with implanting these. It's going to be, eventually they're going to be giving incentives to people, like people in jail. Like, hey, we'll knock off some time if you take this mark, if you take this implant, so we can track you. People, immigrants, they'll be using it for, hey, we need to put this in you so that we can track your movements while you're here within our country, or while you're leaving our country that we just took you away from. People with disabilities, it won't even, the incentive's already there with these miracles that are being provided. And people that are on these government programs, they're going to require them to get it for them to keep getting these the benefits of the government. They're going to produce a lack of food, a food supply shortage, to influence people to take it when it's out. They're backing people into a corner and trying to influence them and give them benefits to taking this, because they want everybody on this planet to take it. It says, causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, to take it. But we're not going to start there. We're going to start at John 6 and verse 2. This isn't a great, actually verse 1. And after these things, Yahushua went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias, and a great multitude followed him. Why did they follow him? Here. Because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. These devils have a God complex, and they want to be like Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And they understand that people will follow with miracles, and their technology are their miracles. And even here it says, because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. And that's exactly what the devil's doing. This guy back here that took this BCI, he has ALS. He is diseased. But now he can communicate. Eventually they're going to be like, yeah, this guy's walking. We completely cured him. This was 3-4 years ago. They have advanced it. They're advancing, and I'm sure behind the scene it's already ready, because we're at the gate. We're ready, or this devil has people primed and ready for this device. There's still a few more steps, but you can see everything lining up for them to push this out and to make it mandatory. And they're showing people miracles. There's the brother Kashkwala just did a lesson the other day on Kim Kardashian, and how she's got something going on with her brain activity, and there's thought that she might be being set up to be a Neuralink patient. And the brother's going into that, which you're going to see influencers influencing the people. You're going to see these miracles that they have, influencing the people because they want everybody to take it. They want every single soul to take this device that they're trying to set up. As it says, in verse 16, Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All. They want everybody to take it. I'm going to jump up to verse 13. And it says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. This is talking about Rome. Rome is that fourth beast. It rose back up in the ancient world, and then it fell. But then it rose back up again during the Renaissance. And it's about to fall again. But that's where we are. We are in the fourth beast that's already fallen once, but it rose back up into the form of NATO and the EU, with America being that whore that rides its back and controls it. But everybody flows towards the west currently. And it says, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. All the world flows towards this reincarnation of Rome, NATO and the EU. And so I want to get that word wandered. Which is Strong's G 2296. Dalmazo. It says to wander, wander at, to marvel, to be wondered at, to be had in admiration. And this makes you think of John, the Revelator, when he saw the woman. Which, okay, here. Yeah, Revelation 17 and 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? So that's the same word, to wander, to marvel. I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. And this is a reincarnation of Rome, or in Esau's power structure throughout time. So Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, France, Spain, Britain. That makes up the 7 heads. And then the 10 horns, or the vassal states, are basically the EU. Those EU nations. And even when, I believe it's the EEC is being formed, at first there were 10 nations. They just go into the 10 horns. And that woman on the back of her is, on the back of this beast, is America controlling this beast. So that's the controlling position. But John saw this as an actual woman on the back of the beast, and I'm sure that woman was extremely bad, extremely beautiful, at least on the outside. And he marveled at her, he wandered at her, looking at her, just like the world is currently marveling and looking at in admiration to Western society. This beast, it's pretty on the outside, and it seems like it is that top place currently, because it's that golden cup within the Lord's hand. But underlying, it's a dirty whore, just like that woman on the beast. It's got all these STDs and diseases and bands that she wants to trap you up in. And yeah, it's nothing to look at. It's not as pretty on the outside, or pretty on the inside as it is on the outside. It's really abomination on the inside. But marvel, everybody marvel, to wander at, admire. And that's how the devil's going to have people, that's how he's going to influence people to actually take this MOTB, to take the RFID micro C-HIP through these miracles that they're providing. And everybody's going to marvel at it, wander at it, admire it, and then want to have it themselves, except for the elect. I'm sure there'll be some other quote unquote Christians that aren't calling on the true name that might not take it. But in order to get out of here, you gotta pass that test, as in not taking this MOTB. But you also have to have the Lord's true name. You have to call on Yahweh Shai, because there's no other name that we might be saved. You also have to be an Israelite to even have that name, because it's a terror unto all that aren't, unto the other nations. But the elect are not going to pass, or not going to fail this test that is coming. It's Revelation 14 in verse 9, because there's not an option. It's not an option to take it. You can't take it at all. It tells you what's going to happen. It tells you about that sore which the people received, which goes into cancer, and this mixture, this cup right here, Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image. So if you're part of this, the Western culture, the ways of this place, and you don't actually understand that it's demonic, you're not going to be a part of this. You're worshiping that beast, because you should be able to, you use the world but don't abuse it. But you should understand that this place is about to fall. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to admire about this place. If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Guy in that article took it in his forehead. And I'm sure there'll be updates eventually to where it gets him to being able to buy and sell with just that mark that he took, and others without, because that's very invasive to put it in somebody's head. So I imagine most people are just going to have it in their hands for buying, selling, and doing regular, controlling their apps and TVs and their homes and stuff, which are little miracles. But it's not, those little miracles aren't worth what's going to happen to you for taking it. And receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Which the Lord's going to be furious when he comes. You don't want to have any part of that. That's why we're doing the work, because we don't want any part of what is coming. It says, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Let's see. That cup of his indignation it's cup of wrath, fury, actually. It's basically everything, yeah. Yeah, that cup full of mixture. Well, Psalm 75 and 8, for in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof. All the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. Let's get another cup. Yeah, that cup of trembling. Isaiah 51 and 17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which hast drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out. Yeah, this is basically a cup of everything that is bad. Israel has drank that cup, which are basically the curses on us. But he's removing the curses from us and putting them onto our enemies, starting with Esau, Edom. That's why you see them losing their numbers or losing their power, because these curses are coming onto them. And it's nothing that you want any part of. but the Lord is pouring that out. He's going to pour that out on the other nations, Deuteronomy 30:7, and on the Israelites, the 2/3 of Israel that actually take this mark. They're gonna drink of his wrath, which I don't want any part in, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, righteous anger, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The Lord's going to leave you here and melt you if you're a 2/3 Israelite. If you're an Israelite, don't take this. You can't take it. If you're heathen, whatever, you might want to take it to make life a little better for you. But if you have any notion that you shouldn't take it, don't take it, because you might even be an Israelite. But Lord willing, that was edifying. This devil's going to use his miracles to influence people to take this, but you'll have to drink of that cup if you do take it. So Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.